Put your red shirt on and a brown coat too. Everybody's joining the crew. We got just one drink that we rule them all. Hope you remember your thoughts. At your Uru feathers and your Middle guns. A sonic screwdriver or a sword plus one. Use Valerian steel if it will get you to come. To the pit tank. To the pit tank. The Rocky Mountain pit tank.
Hi, I'm Troy,
Hi, I'm Alex.
and this is Geek Tang. I apparently thought it was mute and was unmuting it, but I guess it wasn't muted, and then I muted it.
Good job.
Would be my guess. Yeah,
Highly professional.
I thought so. Um, so I'm expecting Guy to come crashing here at any minute. Email's probably doing that thing like before, where it doesn't like him, but it likes you. So bad Wi-Fi. Who knows? Any case, yeah, for a minute I thought since Guy wasn't here and I wasn't sure if you were going to make it, that I'd have to like do some kind of video game stream or something.
Nice. Yeah.
Well, so eventful Sunday for us.
Yeah. We had a non-discount all-staff meeting. Did talking
Yeah,
and stuff.
seemed like it went decent.
Yeah, it was fun.
Got my layout. I had to redo my layout because there's a good chance that some folks from Japanime Games are going to be running some official Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh type tournaments, and their stipulation was it had to be enough seating for them to have 64 contestants or tournament players, whatever you'd call them. And so, re-looking at my map, I just had to swap out some stuff and move some tables around, and hopefully the new layout should be able to accommodate them as well as accommodate other people just showing up to hang out and play other games.
Cool.
So I won't know till we get there and look at tables and everything.
Right. Yeah. The thing that we're waiting for is we're still waiting for. We want to have some guests in my room, the VGR, but we're still waiting on some contracts. Not naming any names at this point.
Right, because they don't want to get anybody excited and then turn out they can't do it.
Yeah, or get anybody mad.
Yeah.
Contract said, well, you had douchebag. So,
Taryn was
But yeah.
asking me if there's going to be new video games in the video game room, and I'm like, that's not my area.
yeah,
So I figured there's always something cool and new happening there. So
yeah.
any point, I can imagine him saying, I want to move over to the video game area. And I'm like, you got to pass the test with Alex first.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out some other miserable job that we can use as a screening device besides sitting on the door, since we're not doing that anymore. We'll figure something out. I can't hear what you're saying, Troy.
It did it to me again. You still have sitting on the door, but it turns out that it's an unnecessary job. You're just seeing if they'd sit there.
That's even worse.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the professional world, kid.
So,
It's like Brent's here.
yay! Hello,
Guy is officially late.
Yep.
Not
I'm
beating the
sure.
rest of
I'm
us.
sure he's not seeing the email or something.
My phone buzzed. What was it buzzing about?
That was me saying I sent the thing, or unless if you already saw that one.
I saw your. Oh, and I see your text now. Emailed link starting show to me.
It was to both of you guys, I think. Yeah, it's a group message.
Yeah, but that was before 9.
Oh, he just said running late. Well, obviously.
Nuh-uh. It's right on time.
Yep. Guy just texted us and said he's running late, as though we hadn't figured.
Who knew?
Out. But yeah, gosh. Trying to think what's my brain's been fried recently. It doesn't help that the good news is I got some memberships for me and my guys at the rec center down the street, and I said, here's the deal, we are going 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, for at least a half hour, and I expect you to
Okay.
do something. It can be
Mhm.
treadmill for 30 minutes, bicycling, weightlifting, or mix it up if you want, but no, just sitting around doing nothing.
Okay.
And that, so,
Okay.
I'm bringing down the hammer on getting them some physical activity because
Yeah.
they aren't into any kind of sports whatsoever or
Okay.
stuff like that,
Mhm.
and not competitive or into combat, so I can't push them towards martial arts. I tried that earlier in life.
Right. Right.
Yeah, school starts soon. School's already started for my guys.
Mhm. Yeah. Nova School starts tomorrow, and they're in our county. They went from soft start at 8 to soft start at 7:30.
Mm. Do they get out earlier?
Yes. Which actually, if they were staying the same amount of time but had more time for recess and lunch, I'd have been happier.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
my kid's school's doing something weird. It's like every other Friday they get off, and
Okay.
that schedule will hit hiccups when there's like holidays and stuff. They'll like
Right.
readjust, and I'm like, you're gonna have to send out a notice every
Every
Monday,
week.
every week, or you're gonna have parents showing up on Friday going, "Where's everybody?"
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Uh,
I've been out of the loop always.
See, Guy isn't here, so I'll save that news for when Guy shows up. Guy and I have started watching a Star Trek thing. Go
All right.
figure.
Yeah.
What is
Roped you into it. You
No, it's
fool.
actually I've got at least 3 friends I can think of that highly enjoy and recommended the Strange New Worlds. Yet are also thought the Discovery show was horrible and that most of the new Star Trek stuff was horrible. And since they are harsh critics, then I was much more apt to go, if they like it and they hate the other stuff, there's a good chance I'm going to like it because I don't hate the other stuff. And yeah, so far it's been pretty interesting. It's got its problems, and I'll wait again. I should wait for God to show up for that. I only got through the first half of the first episode of season 2 of Good Omens, but just because I was really tired, and I definitely want to go back and hit that again because, of course, Good Omens is good. So
Yeah. I'm curious to see how they do because, as far as I know, there was never a second book.
I don't think there was.
No, to my knowledge, there wasn't. And I would think that I would have heard of it since I liked the first one and like both authors. Yeah, Nova and I just finished rewatching Wednesday. Um, Still thoroughly enjoyed it. Looking forward to the second season, whenever that is.
Yeah.
I haven't looked for a release date, so I guess I could do that right now. And then and we're going to be starting the new season of Dragon Prince or whatever it's called now, Secrets of Erebos or whatever, because that just came out as well. And that's a really good show if you've never seen it.
No, you've told me about it, and I watched some clips because there's like that clip of like I'm a human.
Oh, Human Rayla.
Yeah, human Rayla.
The bit I wish I had come up with. I'm a normal human girl. I like things like complaining a lot and eating bread.
So you got halfway through season 2. Is that season 2 of Star Trek or Good Omens? There, Brett. My brain's broken.
Or Dragon Prince.
Dude, who's always here, whose my mind has decided to break and stop working. But yeah, I trailed off on my rabbit hole. But in any case, since I'm making them work out, today was one of those days where I was really tired and I was holding myself to the same thing. So working out while tired means you get more tired. That's
Yes.
how it works.
Yes, working out makes you tired. So cool. The new Castlevania is releasing like the September 28th. Excellent. And I guess Brent, start typing. So you got halfway through season 2 because you didn't like it, because you fell asleep, because you got passed out drunk, because you had to go dancing.
Only so many hours in the day.
Elaborate, please. We just want to know. But yeah, Castlevania, booyah, love it. Here for it. I thought they were actually going to wait till Halloween like they did the original release. So, cool.
Oh,
It's called Nocturne, which I think is weird. It's judging from the teaser trailer, it's Rondo of Blood. So,
oh yeah, definitely start with season 1.
bad,
That's
Brent. Bad.
Good, well, no, good call on the daughter.
Chastisement.
Don't start
Unless
with
you're into
Empire.
it. Then no chastisement.
Yeah, don't start with Empire Strikes Back. I'm not saying season 2's better than season 1 because I don't know that yet, but I'm just saying that they definitely seem to be doing a good job of continuing character development, so you don't want to miss that first batch of character development.
Nice. Yeah, Nova really liked Good Omens once we sat her down to watch it. So
cool. So how's Castlevania drawing anything fun from the video game lore, or other than just the names?
Oh yeah, no, the original series that they did on Netflix, like it was especially the first 2 seasons, just really the first season, is based off of the Nintendo game Castlevania 3: Dracula's Curse, and there's not a lot of lore there, but they did, I think they did a really good job with it, and they expanded things, and then they continue on with some of those characters. Some of the characters, of course, from different games, but the core story of Sifa, Trevor, and Alucard trying to kill Dracula, that is from Dracula's Curse. They cut out a character. They kind of mention a character that it could be in passing, but it was already, getting a little bit full.
Mm-hmm.
Not only with having to spend money on character designs and yada yada yada, but it just more time devoted to more writing, more animation, more story, more episodes. I get it. And I thought what they did with it was really, really cool. And then like seasons 3 and 4 really do go off away from the game, because the game ends when you kill Dracula. And then, but there's always like Dracula always comes back because people are always trying to bring him back to life, and so they go into a storyline of that. And as far as I know, and I actually haven't played all the Castlevania games because some of them just bore me to tears, which is not as good as Bloody Tears. Come on, Bob, you have to be out here for these Castlevania jokes.
It's
God
that
damn it.
dude.
But it goes into like why some people would want to bring back Dracula and how they would go about doing so. And then just from the teaser trailer of the new one coming out in a month and a half, it is definitely Rondo of Blood. And for those not in the know, which is we only have Brent, the Rondo of Blood is Symphony of the Night is the direct sequel to Rondo of Blood. If you have played Symphony of the Night, which most people have and love it, the ending where you're fighting Dracula as Richter Belmont is the end of Rondo of Blood. So
Guy the late.
So yeah, so they took the game and they expanded upon it. And
That's
I thought
really
the animation
cool.
was usually pretty cool. I thought the fight choreography is cool. No, it's solid. I really enjoy it.
Cool. Yeah, like I've only played Symphony of the Night, and so I know very little about the whole span of the storyline for the video games. But and watching the cartoon, it felt really like complete as the story goes.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Warren Ellis was the head writer on that, and Warren Ellis, I haven't read anything by Warren Ellis I don't like. He's got a huge body of work, so I've not read everything he's done, but everything I've read of his, I'm like, that's cool. Speaking of Warren Ellis, I haven't followed up on this. I probably should. He got Me Too'd years ago, and he actually had one of the better takes on getting Me Too'd. He was like, I'm really sorry. I didn't really recognize my power and privilege. I'm going to bow out of the public light for a while and consider what I've done and what I can do to make things better. And projects that I have that are in the works right now, I'm going to back out of them. I don't want them to be tainted by my presence. It's like, cool.
Yeah. Growth.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's supposedly I don't have all the details, but supposedly something similar happened with um his name will come to me in a minute. Dan Harmon, who created Community, the show Community, and some other stuff, that he got called out on something, and like apparently his apology was like a textbook thing of how you should sincerely do an apology and make amends for it, type
Right.
of thing. And as opposed to, and when I say textbook, I don't mean that he was trying to get out of it in a way that he is following some playbook, but he was
When I met
Yeah.
the Monarch, I
Yeah.
was on crack cocaine. When I
the
met the
sun,
Monarch,
the sun was in my
he
eyes.
saved my life.
So welcome to the show, Guy.
Thanks. We had an interesting thing when I do my Japanese practice on Monday nights.
Uh-huh.
I meet at a Starbucks, and the Starbucks closes at 8:30, except it didn't tonight. So usually we have a very clean and easy way to know that we are done. They come over and go, "We're sorry, we close in 5 minutes," and we're like, "Oh, good. Well, that's the end." And we just sat there and kept going, and apparently they don't close at 8:30 anymore. So we're just sitting there, talking, and then all of a sudden I was like, something doesn't feel right. And I looked down at my phone, it's 9:06. I'm like, ah!
I got missed texts from Troy.
I know. I'm like, what the? How did we miss this? And then we look over and they're like, oh, just keep going. I don't know. They must have had COVID hours and are now getting over their COVID hours, is my thought. It used to be a place prior to COVID that was open till 10. And so I'm assuming that they moved all the way back to whatever time, like 6 p.m. closing during COVID. And now they're just starting to creep back out, to that point again, which I actually, when I saw that you had sent the email and everything like that, I thought about joining the stream while driving back, but then I thought as a driving instructor, that might not have been a very good idea. So I considered it for about a second or two. And I was like, that probably would be distracted driving. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Live streaming while driving is probably rules under distracted driving somewhere.
Could have handed it to your kid and said, quick text.
Yeah, except that I wasn't.
Oh, I thought that's who you were with.
No, I was with the translator for NDK.
Oh, okay.
She's Japanese, and she really would like for us to have more people who can interface with the Japanese guests when we bring the Japanese guests over. So we were initially getting together to just kind of, rough in, to practice talking and to rough in, our
you can get back into not saying the wrong thing kind of thing.
Right. And she as we got into it further and further, she was like, we need to go back to kind of some more fundamentals. I was like,
oh no.
So,
well, good luck with that. So I briefly mentioned that I wanted to wait till you got here before I went further into it, that we had started watching Strange New Worlds together.
Yes, we have.
And I'd mentioned that I have friends who really don't like any of the new Star Trek stuff other than Lower Decks, and especially now they really like Strange New Worlds. So I thought that was interesting that they have such a negative view on the other stuff, whereas I don't mind the other stuff, which since they like Strange New Worlds, my theory was I would really like Strange New Worlds.
Right.
And it only been a couple of episodes, but it's been fun so far. And like Tara said last time, if we had more time, we would have kept watching more.
Yeah.
But
we went through the first season is pretty solid, and the second season is pretty solid too. In fact, I can only think of a couple of episodes that have been by the Trekkies have been kind of rough. but I enjoyed all of them. I didn't have any problems with any of the episodes of Strange New Worlds. Especially now, I'm starting to realize the biggest problem that people have with the new Star Treks is, and they have it with every Star Trek, and that is they have an image in their head what the story is of Star Trek, and these people come in and mess with it. And with Strange New Worlds, I've been following the writing crew long enough to actually see what they're after. And that is, they really like the idea of taking the established canon and subverting it in a way that doesn't break it, but rather changes the story in there. And I didn't quite catch on that was part of what was going on. One of the things that an example is that, because you've seen now these episodes, T'Pring is a character that features pretty strongly in Strange New Worlds. T'Pring is Spock's betrothed wife. And the problem is that in the original series, when we first meet T'Pring, Spock walks onto the bridge. T'Pring is standing, or is on the view screen, and Uhura says, "Who is she, Spock? She's lovely." And Spock says, "That's my wife." Well,
It's my wife.
right? And if you've been watching Strange New Worlds as well, T'Pring has been everywhere. Everybody's seen T'Pring, except that somebody went back and said, watch how carefully they're playing with Uhura. Uhura manages to be somewhere else every time T'Pring is on the ship. Every time T'Pring's been on board, Uhura has been somewhere else, so she would never meet T'Pring.
So the first part, I think, for anyone who's not in the know, trying to follow that might have been hard for them. The Uhura commenting on T'Pring you were referring to was in classic Trek,
right? In the original series,
right? Because that, and then now we have the new series, Strange New Worlds, is taking place at closely to the same time period, and we have a young Uhura before she was on under Kirk's command, and so the people were complaining, well, if T'Pring's on the ship all the time and Uhura's on the ship, why haven't they met each other? And it's a Donald.
So that's part of what I'm noticing is happening here. Is there's a lot of taking it and subverting it. Those old scientists. Yep, back in the days of those old scientists. So, which is a Lower Decks joke. Those old scientists, which now has canonized the word "toss" to refer to that era of Star Trek, as those old scientists. Anyway, but yeah, that's the thing I think is fascinating, is how they're subverting expectations. And I'm actually enjoying it a whole lot more watching it now, knowing that they're intentionally doing that. They're playing really close to the line on a lot of things where, they're almost rewriting. Yep. Like Kirk and Pike meeting for the first time. It's canonical in the original series that McCoy asks Kirk, have you ever met Chris Pike before? And Kirk says, I met him once at a function, but never anything else. Well, he's met Kirk many times through here because his brother's on the ship. So he keeps meeting James Kirk as well on there. So I'm waiting to see where they subvert that at the end. I expect that what's going to happen somewhere down the road, Kirk and Pike are going to be talking, and Kirk's like, okay, I'm going to have to pretend like I didn't know you or never met you or something. They're going to have something like that ends up.
It'll be like a debriefing of him with Section 31.
Right. There's going to be something where Kirk and Pike are going to have this discussion where Kirk's like, because it was McCoy that asked it, not Spock. So you could see Kirk lying to McCoy or something. Yeah, it's not like Spock asked that, because Spock obviously is on board, so would know. So
one of the things I thought was interesting too that I noticed is that it's been edited with spots for where commercial breaks could be put into it.
Yeah.
But there's no commercials. So
No
it makes me
commercials.
wonder if they were looking further ahead to it eventually cycling to non-Paramount television, so people wouldn't have to pay to see it.
I think that's the idea. There is a lot of discussion as to whether streaming was a good idea or not.
Mhm.
Amongst all of the streaming services. They're starting to wonder whether this was a good choice on their part. They're financially not in a position that they wanted to be in.
But they're also in too deep to back out.
Yeah. And I mean, legitimately, they are making money off of Star Trek, just not the amount of money that they expected. I feel like what probably has happened is that somewhere along the line, syndication is probably what they're going to end up doing somewhere down the road. But somewhere along the line, I think they're going to end up deciding that, or I think what really happened, I got derailed. I think what really happened was Paramount didn't expect to have a zillion competitors. Because they were kind of the first ones to come onto the scene with only Disney and Netflix to deal with at the time, or I think it was just Netflix and Hulu or whatever, but it was only, so they thought they would corner the market, and they had no idea that they'd end up with 50 of these guys. You know, Amazon would come in and, you know. So,
well, yeah. Well, cool. In any case, I'm looking forward to getting back to a few more episodes this coming Friday.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I'm all about it. We got some good episodes coming up on us.
So other shifting gears, other geekiness stuff, something I found out that I didn't realize was a thing. In 1989, Taco John's had trademarked the phrase Taco Tuesday. I didn't realize Taco Tuesday was a trademarked thing. And so other places could not use it in their advertising. So Taco Bell couldn't say, come get a taco special for Taco Tuesday, because Taco Tuesday was trademarked. And then only recently were they able to get them to drop that trademark. So I think for like the next 3 or 4 Tuesdays now, you can go get a free like taco from Taco Bell when you go in, because that's how they're celebrating. If you're into that kind of thing.
I'm totally into tacos. Not 100% sure I'm into Taco Bell tacos, but I'm into tacos.
Mm-hmm.
Tacos are always good.
But yeah, when I heard that announcement, I was like, Taco Tuesday was trademarked. It's 2 words that don't seem like they could be trademarked.
Not only that, Deadpool. Like, that seems like something Deadpool just did.
Well, I guess saying it's okay, but using it in an ad to get money or something, I don't know.
Anyway, you know what else is weird?
Your mom.
And our sponsors.
Yeah.
We should like bring up the sponsor thing.
Well, we still have like a whole 4 seconds or something, don't we?
No.
My clock says 9:29. And
2 seconds.
I'm waiting for it. Gotta wait for it.
Mine says 9:30.
Mine says 9:29. What's wrong with your computer?
I don't know.
There it goes.
All right. Now we can say Geek Tank is sponsored by Kieran Games, Geekway Homes, and your mom.
Punctual mom.
More punctual than me.
That's right. She doesn't come late. Wink, wink. And with that, we lose all our sponsors.
Yep. And all of our sponsors then just bailed right here.
That's the line. Troy crossed it.
So, yep. That stopped our entire discussion.
Not in my brain. So, circling back around, you were already mentioning NDK with the translation stuff, and Alex and I were already talking about NDK at the beginning of. Oh no, we lost our 2 audience members, says Brent. So, but we were talking about NDK. I was going to ask you if there's any new aspects coming this year that you think would be really cool that you're looking forward to, or anything that you're concerned about? The two ends of the spectrum.
I am concerned about video rooms being downstairs. I'm afraid people won't find them. But that's
Supposedly the
probably
signage. They're doing the Tory Gate signage, I think, to help guide people around.
yeah. Yeah, and there's going to be new things that we'll be adding to Indicate that'll really be cool. The Tory Gates will be up. That'll be cool. Also, I still haven't built it yet, so it's going to be very last minute. But we're trying to make a signpost that sits in the middle of Indicate with various signs, so it's a lit signpost that actually looks like it's doing something, and I think that's going to be really cool too. So, I mean, a little bit more of trying to make it an experience. I'm concerned about Dojo, that it doesn't disappear and nobody finds it ever again.
It's going to be the Tory Gate deal.
Yeah, but I also think, well, at that point, it's a Troy Gate, though.
Mm-hmm. Well, that means I got in like some kind of controversial muckety muck. Troy Gate.
Troy Gate.
I was wiretapping the president.
Right? Well, you've been doing that for a while, so we all know that.
It's really boring. I never listen to the tapes anymore.
All right. It's just after the first couple of days, you're like, well, that's enough for me to sleep.
So on the signpost, you need to put a signpost up ahead. Your next stop, the Indicate zone.
Yeah.
The Tory Gates.
So I'm looking forward to some of that stuff. I'm doing 2 panels. I'll be doing a neurodivergent panel on Saturday.
I know you said neurodivergent, but I heard nerd divergent.
Nerd divergent panel on Saturday. And I'm doing a how to draw manga on Sunday. I have to actually figure out when exactly that is, because the neurodivergence at noon on Saturday and how to draw manga is at 10 a.m. on Sunday. So that'll be kind of fun.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool. The lanterns never got built this year. I'm hoping I can make a pattern, and then out of the pattern make more as the years go along. So
yeah, that's gonna have to be someone else outside of my pay grade to do that, because I don't have any contacts with anybody.
You're talking about the
Pokemon Go
thing. Yeah,
that'd be, I think, I don't know if Niantic is still doing Pokemon Go, but they were the group doing Pokemon Go. That'd be cool if they could get Indicate as an actual Pokemon stop labeled on the thing. I'm sure there's already Pokemon stops for the Gaylord because they're gigantic. It's just a matter of getting one labeled with something related to Indicate.
No, I don't have Jackson helping me with the manga panel. I'm doing it all by myself, but I might have Jackson help me before the panel. So that would be cool.
Your big tournament, king size tournament thing this year is going to be Gomoku. See if I can spell that right. Yeah, Gomoku, which is like a simpler version of Go. And that'll be fun. And then Taryn's going to actually run, and this will be something people could play outside of the dojo, the Jackbox games. So we're going to have a Jackbox games thing set up in the dojo, as well as on the online program and the social media stuff. We'll have the info people would need if they wanted to just join in to that, since that's a remote play game.
That's kind of cool.
So, yeah, it'll be neat to see how that goes. Because then people waiting in line to get signatures or something could also be playing a game at the dojo while not at the dojo. So
might as well.
And I'm going to be
that information into the art team before.
Art team?
Yeah. Like, did you get the things that are in the program guide that need to be added to the program guide to the team that's making the program guide?
Oh, everything that I wanted in the hardcore program guide's in there.
Okay.
Stuff that wasn't 100% confirmed yet is only going to be in the digital one.
Okay.
And then, poker is probably going to be making an appearance again, if not this year, next year. but it might be one of these unofficial things that like pulls together and happens, and see how much interest falls into that. And then I'm doing a Junji Ito style horror game, role playing game, which should be a lot of fun.
Cool.
So-
NDK's Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, Labor Day weekend, and it's Nandasokan. And if you happen to watch this before the first Saturday of September 2023, and you're able to get to Denver, Colorado, you could go for just a small price of. Actually,
I think we're still holding it.
I was going to say anything because I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to get a room there, it's going to cost you your firstborn, but
Yes, $1,700 for the whole weekend. We just discussed that. Yeah. So if you haven't gotten a room already under our room block, you're in really bad shape here.
You need an inflatable pillow and an emergency blanket, and go to a bathroom stall and lock yourself in.
Install in the bathroom.
I did that at an airport once. I didn't have the cool inflatable blanket or a neck pillow and stuff, but I had like a 4-hour layover on one of my flights back from Europe, and I was already insanely tired, and the place was really busy. And their bathrooms cost like a couple of bucks to go into it if you wanted to use the stall, because they were like their own little room. You couldn't see into them whatsoever. You walk into this closet and shut the door. And so I'm like, oh, I'd pay a couple of bucks to get a couple of hours of sleep. Gaming room stuff rocks. That's why I'm there.
Yep. So should be fun.
We could stream the Dead Dog Party.
Right. I am adding a new thing where I'll be wearing this. I bought this vest, and I'm going to make a pocket on the vest to hold my phone so that I can hear the phone ringing. Because when I'm on the floor and my phone's in my pants pockets, I never hear it. It's just too far away. And so people keep calling me and saying, I never got a hold of you. And I'm like, the only way I can possibly do this is just to walk around with my phone in my hand the entire time. And
you get one of those external speakers.
What I can do? I can just,
You get one of those wireless speakers, Bluetooth speakers, and wear that on your neck, like Iron Man.
Yeah.
Ring, ring, ring. Didn't they make a Bluetooth Star Trek communicator things that?
Yeah, they made 2 of them. One of them was the traditional old school communicator.
I'm surprised you don't have one yet.
One of them. Huh?
I'm surprised you don't have one.
$160.
Oh.
Otherwise, I would have. And they're only for sale for a short period of time. They were for sale. I couldn't afford them. Then they stopped being for sale. I could afford them. Then they were for sale and I couldn't afford them. You know, you get the idea. Depends on whether they're making them. It's the Wand company. The cheaper one is the TNG communicator, but the TNG communicator apparently is really, really bad. Like, it doesn't work very well. It's not loud. You can't hear it. And it's difficult to use, and it runs out of battery quick. And
the one by Famtech has like almost a 5 rating out of 2,300 people. So it's got a good rating. I don't know. It's interesting that depending on which one it is, the design goes up in price.
Right.
Because it's the same tech. That's weird.
Yeah, now the Bluetooth company, or the Bluetooth communicator, I see it on eBay for $498.
I'm looking at
$400. So, yeah. It's you have to get the Wand company version, and it's out of stock again. And it was $180 when it was new, and I just never had that money. It's one I really would like to have, but yeah.
Oh, that's not the one that you wear on your chest. That's the actual handheld one that you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
I was talking about one that you would have next to your face so you could hear it ring. Because even if
Right.
you had the communicator, you're still going to have the same problem. You're not going to hear it ring.
That's what I said. The next generation version of it is
Mhm.
apparently really bad and doesn't work very well.
Maybe the Wand Company one doesn't work well.
Well, I mean, like,
Or
it. Yeah, there's no Wand Company one. There's the Famitech one. I mean, it looks nice, but generally speaking, it doesn't work. It's hard to hear, apparently.
You need to find someone who has one in real life, and you can try it out.
Yeah,
and
try it
decide
out
for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Too bad you're averse to earplugs, because otherwise that would be the solution: is just get some wireless earplugs and keep one in your ear, and you'll hear your phone ring.
Yeah.
Yep. Tara's a cyborg now, since she has a hearing aid. She does all her phone stuff through her hearing aid.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of cool, actually.
And she never misses a phone call or an alarm.
Right. That makes sense.
And her mom has hearing aids for both ears, and it's the Wi-Fi capability. She can connect to the television, so she could actually watch TV with the sound turned off and not bother anybody, which I thought was really cool.
Cool.
I often wonder if I need.
I mean, like, usually its volume seems to be a little lacking. Hope for a little more out of the battery.
I wonder if I need hearing aids, because sometimes at certain frequencies it just cuts out and I can't hear.
Yeah.
Like if I'm running water standing at a sink and you're 5 feet away from me, I'm not going to hear you talking unless if you raise your voice fairly loud.
That actually is probably an ADD side effect. Auditory processing. Because my kiddo has the same problem. Turn on a fan or the water, can't hear anything. I'm the same way. Go into the shower, can't hear anything.
And that's when you get jump scared.
That's when I get jump scared. It's always in the shower. It's when that's where I keep my aliens, so that makes sense.
Is that what you call it?
Yep. He just lives up there in the ceiling. And invariably, I'm just sitting there, and then there's a tail, and then the rest, and then there's the hissing noise. I can't hear it because of the shower.
Yeah, Kevin and I were making alien jokes in that one episode of the first episode of Strange New Worlds. Star Trek versus aliens. Of course, with that, if you catch it soon enough, you can just transport them and transport the alien out of their stomach.
Right.
What other fun stuff? Yeah, since I magically now have access to Paramount Plus,
I'm
going to watch a movie that you will never watch or never should watch, Guy. They might as well call it Jump Scare, You're Dead. It's a Quiet Place Part 2.
Oh yeah. Nope.
Because not only is it jump scares, but most of the show is all sound design because it's quiet. Because the whole deal is the monsters can hear really, really well, and so you have to be insanely quiet to not attract them, and they can hear for like miles. So
I can hear for miles and miles.
But it was written and directed, created by the guy who plays Jim in The Office.
Oh,
John Krasinski. I'm probably butchering his last name. I know it begins with a K, and I know it has like a
ski in it.
E in it. Just one though, so it's a snowboard.
So it's like a snowboard, yeah.
See if I can find it here. Okay, it helps if I probably start with the first name then. Krasinski. So Krasi. I was putting a second in after the A. But yeah, that guy. So I thought it was kind of cool. I saw the first one. I thought it was all right. My hard part is wrapping my brain around the science that if I could hear you drop a bottle from 2 miles away, then if I'm in the same room with you, it seems like I should be able to hear your heartbeat.
Right.
If I can hear that well. So, but I'm not an expert on sound, so there's probably some way that you could say that the hearing is so well that the closer you get, the more distorted it gets. If you can hear that well, I don't know. But the I was fascinated by the sound design of it, and that is just really neat.
Yep. But it does sound like concentrated molecular. I'm not watching this.
Oh yeah, he's married to Emily Blunt. That too. That's another feather in his cap.
If we may be blunt.
Mm-hmm. You can't. He already
Nope.
has her.
Mhm.
Explosions, explosives. Well, now, were these work-related explosives or recreational explosives?
Work related in his case. So, am I walking with you tomorrow morning, Alex?
Sure.
Sweet.
Sounds good.
That was
Yep,
some.
yep.
I love the weather we had on Sunday. The
It
sun
was
was
good.
hiding, and it was not over 80. It was really nice out there. Oh, what other fun stuff is going
Yep.
on here?
Had to
Oh,
go to a meeting instead of teaching sword, though. Womp womp.
yeah. Roanoke Gaming on YouTube. He does these dives into the science behind aliens. Oh, neat. Yeah, cool. That's, I imagined. Yeah, there's a lot there to deal with those aliens.
I never saw it.
It's not so good that I would like. You have to see it the way I do with Legion.
Mhm.
I'm like, you have to see it. It's so good. But it's if you're into horror movies or scary alien stuff, it definitely checks those boxes.
Yeah, I think the Honest Trailer people, they were like, everyone has to be quiet all the time. You have to be like, go fishing and stuff. Gee, sounds like Grandpa's vacation.
I think survival would just not. I don't think anybody would survive because when you're asleep, you snore.
Right.
Yeah.
It can
Or
happen,
move
or
around.
move around, um, or just you sneeze, you cough, all kinds of things that just seem impossible to prevent. Here's I will spoil this. In the first one, the main character shows his son there's a place that they can actually relax, which is by this waterfall, and they can actually sort of whisper because the waterfall masks everything.
Mhm.
And the first thing I thought is, why aren't you living there?
Right. Yeah.
It's like, get a tent, move all your stuff here.
Yeah, I
Sure,
mean, because like you don't know how to control what you do at night. Like,
yeah,
you'll talk in your sleep. You'll be like, I don't like Troy.
can't
I
sleep.
hate him.
Alien.
Can't sleep. Aliens will eat me.
Man, I'm going to sleep. I
Yeah.
hate Alex too. While you're in your sleep, and the alien pounces on you.
Have either of you? I'm guessing not you, guy, because it's not in your wheelhouse. Played Baldur's Gate 3 because I've been hearing some great stuff about it.
Oh yeah, I heard some good stuff about
I
that.
have not, but I actually am kind of curious because I played Baldur's Gate back in the day.
Yeah,
100 million years ago, back when we were all playing all these things.
apparently it's so good it's upsetting other game companies because it's like you buy it and it's a complete game with no DLC that you need and it does tons of stuff. And so other game companies are upset because it's setting a bad precedent for game companies who want to release like half a game and then DLC the rest of it.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
But yeah, I'm curious to see it now. And I guess it's got all kinds of fun stuff. Yeah, Donald backs it up. Baldur's Gate is awesome. I've not had anybody who's played it tell me they didn't like it. So.
Huh. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, and I was one of the little things I'd read is that even if an NPC is not showing up as a merchant, certain NPCs you could still haggle with and sell stuff to and buy stuff from them. So I'm like, that's neat. You can just wander up to somebody and be following up on a quest, and it's like, by the way, you want to buy this sword? Sure, I'm in the market for a sword.
Swords are cool.
I'm just saying.
Can only carry so many. And you got a bit
Not with
bigger.
that attitude.
Mm-hmm. Carrying that third sword in your mouth.
Right. I was talking to somebody today about that. I was like, as a personal feeling, I'm like, not necessarily opposed to guns. I just like blades better.
Mm-hmm. You get it, but there's no open carry sword license that you can get.
Yeah, right. We have a right to bear arms,
just not swords.
Just not swords,
Yeah.
apparently.
Or smallpox, or no biological weapons, no nuclear weapons. Those are still arms. Feel like I'm being cheated here.
right? Just saying.
Yeah.
Should be able. It's like when when we do the signs part of class 2, and we both work in the same company. Troy and I do, teaching kids. And in class 2, we talk about street signs. And we always get to the signs where it talks about all the no's and yeses and things
that's gang signs. Sorry.
Yeah, the gang signs. One of them is, it says H and then M and then has a circle and a cross through it. So of course I go through, this is no riding your bicycle. You can't walk here. You can't go to that H&M store because their clothes suck, and stuff like that. And the kids stop and they're, what? I'm like, no, it doesn't mean that. What does it mean? And they're like, and I say it means hazardous materials. So if you're driving around with a trunk full of plutonium, you have to stop before you enter this area, pull the plutonium out, stick it under a tree or something. It's fine. It'll be there when you get back.
Tree won't.
I just totally go around on this entire run about this thing. And of course, anytime it talks about the parking sign, I'm like, no peeing, because I'm totally 12 and I can't just let that go. So
do not pee here.
Do not pee here. Yes, it's one of those things.
And in Animal Crossing is, obviously the animals cross only there because they can read.
Right. So that's exactly what it means.
That's what they do.
Yep.
Man.
I was just thinking that it's not that long before my kiddo is going to be old enough and your kiddos are going to be old enough. They're going to have to be in these classes somewhere along the line.
We'll see if they follow in Nick's shoes where they get in the class and they're like, I don't want to drive.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, honestly, legitimately, I think that my kid I'll put my kid through the class whether they want to drive or not.
Well, yeah. I mean, we put Nick through the class, but basically wasted his first 2 behind the wheel lessons because they're not good if you haven't practiced. It's kind of like if I sent someone to Alex for sword lessons and they don't even know which end of the sword to hold.
I'm holding it the right way. That's the blade.
It's like, I wouldn't send someone to Alex. I wouldn't waste Alex's time with them.
Right.
If they didn't have some fundamental skill, because otherwise the stuff that they would benefit most from Alex would be wasted trying to just learning the simple stuff they could learn from other places. And so that's how I felt with it.
Donald's saying taking the class helps your insurance rates. It does.
Which is great if you're going to drive.
Right? If you take the 30-hour class and not EDAP, which is the 4-hour class, because they were like, I have always had kids who are like, what's the difference between the 30-hour and the 4-hour class? I'm like, well, 30-hour you have to be 15 and a half to take. And they're like, well, why don't I just wait? I'm like, because you get better rates out of the 30-hour class than you do the 4-hour class. No.
If that's something you care about.
Yeah. Well, if your mom's going to pay for your insurance forever, it's not a big deal. But my mom,
your mom,
totally just dumped it on me at some point. She's like, this is yours you have to go get a job because you're not paying your insurance.
You got to get a job to get money to get a car, but you need a car to get a job. Ha! Welcome to life.
She at least gave me time to find that job at Taco Bell.
Yeah, I was asking one of the other instructors if they knew if the defensive driving class course was free for employees.
It's not. It's discounted.
Didn't know. Oh, okay.
It's discounted. We get a discounted rate.
It's
not free, though.
Yeah. That means it's probably not going to happen.
There's a lot of, there is an awful lot of things you can do about it. Like, for example, I could ask and request to have my kid in your class, say, although I won't, because I'd actually rather have my kid in a classroom with someone that they're not familiar with. But yeah, I mean, it's, yeah, that's the battle plan. So
I don't know where you got there from what I was saying, but
because that's one of the benefits that we do have is it's discounted, but also we can assign our kid to a specific instructor. So like
I meant what I was saying was for employees. So if I wanted to go take the defensive driving school,
DSD,
it seems like it should be free, so I could learn what we do better. And
sure.
I don't know if it is or not though.
I'll totally tell you how to do that. Go work DSD.
Right.
Then you'll learn exactly how it works.
Which I could end up doing, but I'm
Yeah.
not having been in it.
If you're willing, I mean, I think that you'd have to. They only really offer that to the behind the wheel instructors.
That's because of government, Donald.
Yeah. Well, I'm willing to bet that you had a lot more training to drive that $500 million ship than most people do to get their driver's license.
Definitely.
But, yeah, I see Baldur's Gate 3 is just a D&D as a video game from what I hear. Yeah. Not a game that just happens to have D&D licensed. And it's not D&D. It's like supposed to actually be like D&D.
It's actually like D&D.
Yeah. So which is no mean feat. But yeah, the insurance is crazy. Well, no, it's not. It's a racket. It's a racket.
Yeah.
Take our money, don't pay it back to us. That's how they make their money.
Mm-hmm.
And then
they make a lot of it too.
No written exam for piloting or driving. Wow. I mean, it's almost like you don't write when you drive.
Well,
no texting while piloting the ship, buddy.
Piloting. Well, when we're talking about piloting the ship, that's a different critter altogether. But, there's no written exam, yes, but also.
So I'm gonna. It's related to that, but real quickly, I'm not gonna get here on this page, even though I just saw it at this other page. I'm gonna go back. I know we have a few minutes here, but Baldur's Gate got a 9 out of 10 on Steam with like thousands of review people. So yeah, it's doing well. But I have a friend who is working at the airport as they actually call it air marshal, which is not what the first thing I thought, which was he was kicking people off the airplane that were criminals. But you have the little lightsabers and you're guiding in planes. And you have to learn how to drive the machine to push the planes back into the hangar. But the physics is backwards from the way people think.
Right.
So he took it upon him, and there's no good way for teaching people that in the system. So he took it upon himself to start building a Lego set with actual steering wheels to steer 4 steering wheel tires, because it's a four-wheel turning, not four-wheel drive, but four-wheel turning. And so the front wheels turn that way, and the back wheels turn that way, so you get a much tighter circle kind of thing, which is weird for driving if you've never done it. So he actually built that and used a Playmobil plane that you push back using the little steering wheel. And so you learn, if I turn this way, it turns this way. And I was like, this is so cool. You've got to put it on YouTube. And that he's like, it's just a thing I'm doing. I'm like, it's really cool.
Right?
Yeah. That's hilarious.
So I'm really hoping I can convince him to just film at least like 5 minutes of him explaining the thing that he did and showing people how to make their own or whatever.
Heck, I mean, do it for Geek Tank.
Yeah,
right. Special segment if he doesn't want to do it himself.
If I can get him to do it, or if he'll let me do it, yeah.
So it's interesting because you know what that's called, right? We talk about that in our class. It's called off tracking.
Yeah, off tracking. Because then
it's the problem that we have with kids backing up in cars.
But you eliminate the off tracking with 4-wheel turning.
Yes, you do.
Which is wacky.
Super wacky.
And did you know that 4-wheel turning was going to be a thing in cars with the not the front turn this way, the back turn that way, because that gives you a tighter turn radius, right. But the front turns this way and the back turn this way. So that way your car and so they were going to build that into cars that when they hit over like 55 miles per hour, you travel back in time. No, it shifts over how your car steers, so that way, even if you slam on the wheel like that, your car won't spin and start tumbling. It would just shift you over smoothly. And I'm like, well, what happened? And because he did all this research into this, and he's like, oh, because car companies didn't want to put in the effort.
They didn't want to put that much effort into it.
Yeah. And I'm like, but most wrecks happen on highways because people overcorrect.
Yeah.
So it's actually really funny. There's a movie out there with Beau Bridges, which is Tucker, a man in his machine.
In his underwear.
And it's fascinating how much effort they go through to shut him down because he's put in safety glass and a third headlight that allows you to see where you're driving to. instead of just down the road. And then he put in seat belts, and the big three ran him out of business because they did not want to put that money in.
Yeah.
They knew he would change the way that that automobiles were forever, and they didn't want to mess with it.
Yeah, they're going to cut into their profits.
Yeah.
Cuts into their profits.
I mean, that's why they fought Ralph Nader
Mm-hmm.
when he
Unscaping
started
any speed,
going, "Hey,
too.
we need seatbelts to not die."
Right.
Perhaps you'd like your customers to not die.
And so he ended up writing a book about that stopped him too. So that was an interesting side note. I find all of that very fascinating. I bring it up in class all the time.
Yeah.
I tell them things like our laws are written in blood and like stuff. Like,
Yeah,
really
like
weird.
even, you know, most people have seen Fight Club, and it's like
Mhm.
if the amount of the average out of court settlement times the average rate of failure is less than a total recall, we don't do one.
Yep.
What auto manufacturer do you work for? A major one.
True. Well, Ford did that with the Pinto. It's famous. Hey, you're not even really talking about a major one. We're just talking about the Ford Pinto. You know?
Well, that's a major car manufacturer, though.
Yeah, but that's, I mean, well, no, it isn't. I mean, what? I mean, yes, but I mean, what I'm saying is like, it's not even hidden. I don't know what, like, that's not hidden. That's out there. People know, you know. So fascinating in and of itself, I think. I also, though, I'm so dedicated to the job that I'm doing. I've been like taking pictures of like street lights, like signals and stuff like that, because it's been particularly funny because I've been trying to talk about up arrows. You know, we talk about left arrow turns and right arrow turns, and then it's like, how often do you see up arrows? And they're like, I don't see them ever. And now I like every time I see a signal, I'm like, ah, crap, it's got an up arrow. I got to pull over and go take a picture of it. It's like there's this crazy guy going out and taking pictures of like turn signals and stuff. Like, yeah, that's all right.
Yeah,
it's because it's cool.
Well, I guess we should let you go off to your quack.
I got to go over to the other thing now. I got to do the other thing. So I'm going to go over there and start the other thing, which I can do before we leave here. And in like 20 minutes when it finally gets around to whatever it's doing.
Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for showing up. Donald, Brent, and whoever the other three people are, which I'm guessing two of them at least is probably Brent as well.
Brent and Brent.
Bob made it after I finished my
Bob was
Castlevania
here.
jokes.
Oh, he wasn't here for the Castlevania jokes though.
Womp womp.
Yeah, you have to go back and watch them another time.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Chicken sandwich.
That's all right. We'll get there. But that's all the time we have for today. I've been Guy.
I've been Troy.
And I've been Alex.
This is Geek Tank.